And here we are with our third class in conducting. All right, just to recap what we've done so far in this course, in keeping in mind how I approach this thing, and that is giving each signal in the order of its importance, and also showing you these signals in the order of their importance. So recall we had to have a preparation beat, also meaning we interject here that every motion you make must be prepared. You can't ever forget that. Every signal has to have a preparation to it. You just can't expect anyone to react if they don't see it coming in all kinds of walks of life. It just doesn't work that way. So anyway, starting with the basic preparation beat, remember the preparation beat, if we're going to start on 1, is the principal beat ahead of that, which is 4. So our hands, as we've always seen all our lives, instruments up, it's practically actually about the end of 3 and a 4 pattern. So we have a preparation beat right on the 4th beat, 2, 3, and a 1, and a 2, and 3. And remember, we always say and or take a breath. It's the only way to make it work, and then our hands flow beautifully. Now remember, we have these beat patterns that I've showed you. Here's the 4/4. I showed you 2 of them. One that really works very nicely for precision, for really nailing down a beat pattern. It's basically just giving all ones right here, the bottom of every beat arriving right here at the same point, at this imaginary line right across here, and every beat point is right there. The only difference is you want to indicate what beat you are on. So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and then in 3/4 time, we are 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. In 2/4 time, we are 1 and 2, using the letter J as an example because we want the end of 1 to only go up halfway. That way, everyone will know exactly where 1 is. Now remember, I also showed you 2 beat patterns. I showed you this one that we just discussed that is very good for precision. You can really lock in a tempo, bing, 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 very nicely. The other one is for more legato work, and that is sort of the infinity sign or sort of a figure 8 lying down, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, and that works very great. It's very nice. And remember, we are only using, as much as possible, only from the elbow to the tips of our fingers as the baton part of the arm. We don't need all the other stuff because we're trying to eliminate all the extra movements. We don't want any extra movements if possible. We want this to be in one piece. We don't want the broken wrist school like this. We don't want elbows flying around. We want it to remain the same all the time. And we keep 1 as comfortably as possible, right where your arms hang naturally. Why work any harder than you have to? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, because eventually at some time you will always get into a situation that is difficult for people to see your hands, and they must all see, of course, the bottom of your beat in case you have a high podium or there's some problem, baffles and so forth, where they can't see very well. Then you have to raise the baton up here so that they can see it like that, which is fine. But in the meantime, why bother? Be as relaxed as possible. Okay. We had our preparation beat and our beat patterns. And then we had a hold. The hold was next. Just a signal like and hold. It also has a preparation and a beat point, so they know exactly when to make a sound. Right. Then we have the cutoff, which is the reverse of that, and off. So when you're in the hold, it's and off. That, as you see, has a preparation beat. There's the preparation, and there's the stop. Notice it also has a beat point. It just doesn't go whoop like that. It goes right on the button. And that makes clean cutoffs, clean holds. And you really find out, especially when you get into things that are out of tempo, rubatos and so forth, they have to know exactly, bam, exactly when to strike it. The chord change, their entrance, whatever it is, and also exactly when to stop. And remember, we also had the cutoffs without holds, because we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, hold with the cutoff, or without 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and stop. So it's a separate signal. The hold is a separate signal. The cutoff is a separate signal. And no matter where your hands are, at any given time, if you need the hold, do that. Or do that. Whatever is called for in the music. I keep pounding this stuff in your head, because it's just not enough time. Just after I touch on dynamics, because that was in the order of the way we did things. We have our holds and our cutoffs. And remember, we had dynamics. By using, if you're right-handed, just use your left hand like this with a palm up, bring it up here, turn between the beats, and there's the decrescendo, there's the crescendo, and there's the decrescendo. And that's a good way to start. Not only that, now we'll start training getting the independence in your hands, that you must have. You've got to have independence in these hands. For the most basic thing, it's like turning a page. One hand has to keep going, doing something else. All right, so while you're doing that, and of course we have all these exercises that you all have in the materials, and they come in different tempos, different time patterns like this, 3/4, or in 2/4. Whatever it is, the hands are independent of one another. Even one beat each, whatever it might be. Then if you need a hold, you just do the hold and the cutoff. Okay, now our next thing that we moved along on was, say, you have a hold or a cutoff, or and cutoff is and or, and to an odd tempo. To an odd tempo, if you have a tempo going 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you have a hold. All right, now you're going to go to odd tempo. You want to make sure, this is where you have to start planning ahead. So when you give a signal for a hold or a cutoff, your hands are in a perfect position to go on to the next signal without having to adjust. Now what we did here, very carefully of course, was to pivot. No motion like that, which will be confused. Any motion like that will look like a cutoff or a downbeat to the next thing. So very carefully, you have a hold here. Now you're going to go to odd tempo, meaning the same tempo you just came from. You want to be in a position to give that preparation beat. If it's on 1, our preparation beat is 4, as we did in the beginning when we said instruments up, that's where our hands were. So we're going to do the same thing with a hold. Go back and give a preparation for the same tempo we just left. 2, 3, and 1, and 2, and that's the way that works. Now that also works with a hold and a cutoff. So if you have 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and hold. Now remember, we want our hands in a position to give the preparation beat after the cutoff. And off. We want our hands right there because we're going to give the 4th beat as a preparation to 1, 2, 3, and 1, and 2, and 3, and so forth. Or even if you give a cutoff without a hold, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and off. You still want to make sure your hands are going to be right there so that you can 4 and 1. Give the preparation beat to go on. So you want to be careful. You want to be able to plan ahead. And of course, that really gets a little more difficult when we get into the pickups, you should recall, because if you're going to do that with pickups, you want your hands in the right position to do that. Okay, then we got into retards. By the way, the same thing applies when we did do holds to odd tempo. We haven't got to, different tempos. We will. But we have retards, and that is slowing down gradually, or rallentando. It basically mean the same. And in all the examples, we put a retard in measure 7. If it's 6, 2, 3. Now you start thinking music. Da da dee da 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 da. And off. So you gradually slow down. Now we see how important it is that the upbeats between each beat, each downbeat is so important. Because the players have subdivided their part. They've got to know exactly how to subdivide. You cannot slow down going 1, 2, 3, 4, and somebody has 8th notes. They have absolutely no idea in the world how to possibly do those. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and hold. Off. So that was the retards, which was just fine and dandy. Then we also, I asked you to start, part of the independence, start indicating time signature changes. In other words, you're not only indicating a time signature, say going from 4/4 to 3/4, you're indicating how you're going to conduct it. Because 4/4 can be conducted in 2, 3/4 can be conducted in 1, and so forth. If you want to do that, and that was part of it, and that was very clearly, if you're in 4/4 going to 3/4, you want to get those fingers up. And eye contact now becomes important. Because believe me, we all make the same mistakes, and I certainly have too. I say, okay, we're going into 3. Uh-oh. So I find the best safety valve to check myself is to look right through my fingers so that I know I have the right ones, and you're looking at my eyeballs, looking through the same fingers, and we all know the same thing. So if I'm in 4, even if we have a hold, and I'm going to go to an exercise in 3/4 or any piece of music, I must not let go of the hold, right? And I can't go like this and expect anybody to read that. It has to go 3, 3, different areas, so they actually know it. Then, I have to get into a position to give the preparation beat. Now I can turn over and get back into this position, and I'm on my way. So you just take things in the order of their importance. As you think of them, you have a hold, going into 3, keep the hold going, now prepare for the preparation beat, and give that preparation beat. And your hands then translate those thoughts into a language. Okay, that hopefully is understood by most of the players. Then we got into pickups, which really is starting to get a little hairy now. So remember, the preparation beat, doing pickups without any kind of a count-off, means that the preparation beat is the principal beat prior to the pickup note, or notes, depending on what it is. So we know about 1. The preparation beat is 4, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. We know that one. All right. Now, we're going to start on 2. That means 1 is the preparation beat. But we can only have 1 preparation beat. So our hands are at the end of 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And ready to come down on a 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. Da, 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 da. And they play. So we had all those pickups like that. If it's on 3, preparation beat is 2. So we want our hands at the end of 1. 1 and on our way to 2. 1, 2. Da, da, dee. They play on 3 and 4. If the pickup is on 4, the preparation beat then becomes 3. We want our hands at approximately the end of 2, 1 and 2, and on our way to 3. 1, 2, 3. Da, da. Works every time. And of course, all the variations of that. Then, in order to protect yourself on pickups, then I talked about the magic finger, which will allow you to indicate more than 1 preparation beat. Or you can go on forever. It makes no difference as long as you're looking right at the players with this finger, meaning it's an attention-getting device, while you are passively either counting off or establishing a tempo. The preparation is 4, and we play on 1. All right, I can give a count off for more than 1 bar if I want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and play. But you'll notice that this finger that's indicating, keeping you at the players from playing, must do the correct preparation beat for the pickup. No fudging. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. If it's on 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it has to do it correctly. If it's on 3, 1, 2. Da, da, da. If it's on 4, 1, 2, 3. Da, da. So it allows you to give a count off, or even in some cases, just a couple of beats. 3, 4, 1. Or 3, 4, 1. And they play on 1. Whatever it is, this works very nicely. There's a variety of ways to do a count off. So when it comes to count offs, if you're going to give 2 bars for nothing, in this day and age in commercial music, I highly suggest that you either don't move your hands. 2 bars for nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, and then play, right? Don't move your hands. Or if you're going to move one hand, keep everyone from playing by saying 2 bars for nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, and they will play. Better still, in common language today among players, if the first bar does not have 4 beats in it, audibly, it helps. Either say 1, 2, or 1 and 3. Either way, that's a matter of choice. Nobody cares. But if you do this, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, you'll get absolutely sensational results. Notice the difference between an active motion and a passive motion. When I did that, they were passive motions, the kind of a motion with my hands that do not require a response. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now preparation becomes a very active motion which requires a response from the players. Well, that's another thing that many people experience and don't realize quite what they're doing. When they go down there and they're going to count off, they will give active motions all the time. Doesn't always, I'm not saying never do it, but many times it gets in the way when they'll go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that's very active motion. If you were the player sitting there, you do a little hesitation because you think, well, maybe, did he say 2 bars or 1 bar? Am I supposed to play at the beginning of the second bar? These thoughts go through your mind in milliseconds, as we know. Because if it's that active, 1, 2, and you're going, what? And there's that motion. There's that moment when you're not too sure what you're supposed to do. You're not relaxed. But if I were even the same way, I could have, say, more excitement in my voice on the count-off, but definitely not in my hands. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, bah, Then, when I give an active motion, it means do something. Because most count-offs like that are just to throw out some energy anyway. But if you do it like this, it's going to momentarily scare everybody. But I can distract them and they won't be. But if this is nice passive motion here, this doesn't do anything, but that does, yeah. In other words, what did I say the first day? Where is 1? That's all they want to know. Where is 1? Show us 1 and we'll play. But needless to say, if there's a conductor on the podium that is worthy of watching, they will watch every beat. They'll pay attention. But if it is not, they're going to save themselves and just look for 1 and go on by themselves because they don't want to be confused. I'm going to count off. I just want to make sure that it's clear. Nobody, don't play until I let you. It really works, and that, of course, that's an automatic response with me. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I always give a good 1. Never let a break, a drum break, a rhythm break, a jazz break, never let a break, meaning nothing is happening, without conducting through it and letting everyone know where 1 is on the entrance. You've got a jazz chart, and you come to the end of the phrase, and bar 7 and 8, of course, is a break for a solo break, leading into bang, you know? And the chorus starts, right? Well, supposing you get a guy, soloist, who tends to lay back or something, right? No, you got to train him. You know what happens, the players, I've done it myself. You start listening to the guy and you forget about where 1 is. Drum solos the same way, drummers do it, but even a drum break. If somebody ain't taking care of business, you got a problem on your hands. Anytime there's a break, I always make sure that I conduct through it and let everybody know where 1 is. Now, when you've got a horn taking a break, you just listen to that time, you know, bang! Don't pay any attention to what the guy's playing. You got to concentrate on time and give the downbeat, give 1 for all those other people who might have started listening to the jazz break and forget about time. So, in other words, your job is not to enjoy the guy's 2-bar break. It's to get everybody back in on time, right? Drum things have their own unique problem because you have to listen to the continuity of what the drummer is playing because the time might vary just that much. It's very difficult for a drummer to play a solo and play it in absolute strict time. It's not an easy thing to do. There's a few guys that can do it. Most of the ones are the ones that keep that hi-hat going. That left leg is trained all by itself. It's a metronome. It just goes, no matter what they're doing over here, that sucker is going, so they can But that, you have to listen to the continuity, because that one might come down just a hair different. So you see, it's not, you're not there to enjoy it, you're there to conduct it. I strongly suggest that you always, even vocal breaks, I don't care what it is, I really think that it's vitally important to always conduct through any kind of a break.